Hello friends, welcome to LearnWord. In previous lecture, we have learned about the practicals of range operator in Ruby. And today, we will learn about the array introduction in Ruby. An array is an ordered integer index collection of any object. An index of array is always starts from 0. Same we are having arrays in C language and in Java. If we are passing any negative arguments as a parameter, that will be considered as an end of array. An array in Ruby can have different values of different objects. How we can create arrays in Ruby? An array can be created by using a literal constructor, that is square brackets. Here in a screen you will see I have created one array. That array contains 4 values. First is integer value, that is 1, 2, 3. The second, that is a string value, that's a learn one. The third, that is a boolean value, and I have assigned true. And the fourth and the last one is a decimal value, or we can say float value. So this is an example that how we can create array with using different objects as a value. In Ruby, an array is also created by using a method that is new. So if we are using new array.new, we can easily create arrays. These arrays can be created without passing an argument to new method, or we can also pass different arguments to that new method for creating different kinds of arrays. Here in a screen you will see I have created 3 examples. The first example is array.new and it will create an blank array. In second example, I have created array.new and had passed an argument 4. So this will create an array with 4 values. But I have assigned only 4, so its actual value will be nil. So the array contains 4 values and all the 4 values are nil. In the last example, I have created an array and passed 2 arguments. The first argument, that is the number of elements that I want to create in that new array, and the second argument, that is the value that I need to set into that created array. So here I have passed 2 and true. So it will create 2 elements into my array and their values are true. Here you can see the example. Now we will see how we can access the elements of arrays. To access an element from array, we need to pass an integer value to our square bracket, and by using this method we can easily access any variables from our array. If we want to access and values of range, for example, I want to access elements from my 3rd index to my 10th index. In this case, we will pass 2 arguments. The first argument and double dot, that is kind of range operator, and the last argument. Here in a screen you will see in the example I have created one array and it contains 5 integer values from 1 to 5. And in my first example, I want to access my 4th value. So I have passed 3 as an argument to my array. Why I have passed 3? That is because of the array index always starts from 0. So if I want to access my 4th variable, 4th element, I need to pass an index as a 3. So it will return me the value of 4th element into that array. And here in example, it will return me 4 as my output. In my second example, I have given an range argument that will range from 1 to 4. So the output is 2, 3, 4 and 5. Why? Because index starts from 0 and my first range starts with 1. So that will actually returns the second element and ends with 4. So it will goes to the fifth element into my array. So this is how we can access elements from array. Now we will see some methods of array that will help us to deal with array and perform our desired actions on array. Suppose I want to count the length or the size of my array. So in this case we have three methods available in Ruby to deal the same thing. The first method is length, the second method is count, and the third method is size. Here I have created one array that contains some values of different objects. For example, it contains a string value learn1. It also contains some boolean value, also float values are there. And after that I have to find the length. Here my variable name dot length. So it will return me 6 because I have created 6 elements into my array. The same output will be returned by the size method and the length method. So all the three methods are used to find the size and the length of arrays. If I want to access the first and the last element of array, I can easily achieve this by using predefined Ruby methods of array, that is first and last. Here you can see in a screen I have created one array that contains different values of different objects, and if I am firing a first method on my array, so here I have written my variable name dot first, and that will return me the first element of my array. Here it is learn1. And if I am firing last method on my array variable name, then here it has returned 88.79, that is our float value. Empty method. If I want to check whether my array contains any value, is it empty or not? In this case we will use this method empty and followed by question mark. Here I have created one array variable and that contains 6 values. It contains 6 elements of different objects, and then I have fired an empty method on it. So here in a screen you see that I have written my array variable name, that is arr dot empty and question mark, and it will return me false because my array length is 6. Include method. If I want to check whether my array contains a specific element or I need to check for specific item, that is it available into my array or not. In this case I am using include method, that is followed by an question mark. Here in an example I have created one array variable that contains 6 values. Now I want to check whether a value learn1 exists into my array or not. So for that what I need to do is I need to write the array variable name, that is arr here dot include method followed by a question mark, and I need to pass one argument, that is learn1, that I need to find into my array, and here learn1 includes into my array elements. So that's why this include method returns true. How to add elements to our existing array? For existing array, if I want to add some values, I want to add 2 new elements, or I want to add 5 or 10 different elements to my existing array, we can use different methods. For example, we can use push method. We can also use unshift or insert method. Here I have created one array and it contains 5 values starting from 1 to 5. So its values are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now I want to push a new value 6 at the end of my array. So what I need to do is I need to write my variable name dot method, that is push, and it will take one argument, that is 6. Here I want to add 6 to my array, and that will insert a 6 element to end of my array. Suppose I want to use double less than operator to insert a value into my array. So what I need to write is array variable name and double less than and my value that I want to insert, and it will also insert at the end of the array. So here you can see it has added 7 at the end of my array. Suppose I want to add one value to the beginning of my array. Before we have seen that push and less than method are inserting values to the end of array. But by using unshift method, it allows us to insert value in the beginning of the array. Here in a screen I have created one example. I want to push 0 to the beginning of my array. So I had written my array variable name dot unshift, that is our method, and I have passed one argument 0 to it. So it will include one new array element to the beginning of array. Suppose I want to delete a value at specific position. In this case we will use delete at method of array. So here I want to remove my second value. So what I will write is my array variable name dot delete at and the position. Here I want to delete second value. So I need to pass the index, that is 1, and it will return the deleted element. In next lecture we will learn about how to create array in Ruby.